Good day, everyone! I am Jubilee Ramos and welcome to the continuation of our lesson about the literature under Spanish colonization. But this time around, we will be focusing our discussion on two of the famous literary pieces during that time, which are Urbana at Feliza and Florante at Laura. Disclaimer: all the photos and videos used in this video lecture are used for academic purposes only and belong to the rightful owner. But before we begin our discussion proper, let's have a quick review about the discussion we had about the historical background of the literature under the Spanish colonization. For the instruction, I will present and read a question, and all you have to do is to give the correct answer in 10 seconds. Are you ready? Let's get started! Number 1. When did the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan arrive in the Philippine soil? Your 10 seconds starts now. And the correct answer is on March 31, 1521. Number 2. What are the two motives of Spain in colonizing the Philippines? Your 10 seconds starts now. Time's up. The motives of Spain in colonizing the Philippines is for spice trade and converting Filipinos to Christianity. Number 3. Our periodicals during the Spanish colonization gained a blank. Your 10 seconds starts now. Times. Correct answer is religious stone. Number 4. The term Ladino also refers to Filipinos who were blank. Your 10 seconds starts now. Time's up. Let's now find out what is the correct answer. And the correct answer is fluent in both Spanish and Filipino. And lastly, number 5. What do you call a religious poem in honor of the Blessed Virgin Mary? Your 10 seconds starts now. Times. The correct answer is Dalit. Good job, everyone! I think you are now ready for our discussion for today. So without further ado, let's get started! For our objectives, at the end of the lesson, students should be able to discuss the necessary information on the early Philippine writing, particularly on some folk narratives. Second, act out roles in different characters, scenes, and episodes most appreciated in the selection. And lastly, integrate learning insights and experiences in their lives, whether personal or professional endeavor. Let us now proceed to discuss the reflective essay Urbana and Feliza, Two Letters. Aiming to educate the public regarding good manners and proper conduct, especially in public dealings, was given great emphasis by the Urbana and Feliza Two Letters written by Father Modesto de Castro. This was written many years ago, but the message still holds nowadays. The letters were traditionally regarded as a repository of lessons meant not only for 19th century readers but also for 21st century readers. This literary piece had such a great appeal and impact to a reader who is hoping for the real change in our society through showing the sincere effort in serving our country and the endless discipline that must everyone possess. Let us now proceed to discuss the author. Father Modesto de Castro is the author of Urbana and Feliza. He is a Catholic priest and moralist, a writer and an orator, hardly known today, although in his generation he was one of the highly respected and honored native members of the clergy. Father Modesto was born about the first half of the 19th century in Binyan, Laguna, and was educated at the Real Colegio de San Jose in Manila under the administration of the Jesuits. Some years later, after completing the course for priesthood, he became a curate of the Manila Cathedral. He was a good speaker, and because of his ample talents in delivering political sermons, he was transferred from the Manila Cathedral to Cavite, where he became one of the highly esteemed citizens of that community. Father de Castro, by writing in Filipino, made the belief in God and the Christian religion more understandable and meaningful to the people. Directly or indirectly, he greatly helped his people in the development of national recognition, identity, and integrity. For the invaluable literary service of Father de Castro, the critics in Filipino literature conferred upon him the title King of Prose. What do you think is the purpose of the author in writing Urbana and Feliza? Anyone? Well, the purpose of the author is not only of the need to follow the values and norms found in Christian teaching, but as importantly, to observe the proper mode of conduct as one dealt with people in society. Let us now move forward to discuss the full title of Urbana at Feliza is Pagsusulatan ng dalawang binibini na si Urbana at ni Feliza, or in English, the correspondence of the two ladies Urbana and Feliza. It was published during the Spanish colonization in 1864 in the Philippines. It is an example of the book of conduct that emerged in Europe during the Renaissance. The author used the epistolary style in the novel with a series of 34 letters. Epistolary style is a literary style where the story is composed of letters or diary entries. It is written with a series of documents. The period of urbanization and the rise of the middle class were emphasized in this era. The first letter of Urbana to Feliza is greatly interesting and satisfying. It is deeply substantiated and highly spirited with the essence of good governance. It tackles the significance of good leadership and building camaraderie towards other people. Being good and honest leader balances with proper treatment and devoid of discrimination and degradation of your constituents. Facing the real situation in our society, particularly in politics, seems to disregard the good manners and virtues of a non-traditional politician. Ang korona ang dapat na humanap ng puputungan at hindi ang ulo ang maghahanap ng mismong ipuputong. As what one of the lines stated on Urbana and Feliza, many politicians or soon-to-be politicians are just like crocodiles who are craving for meat or pork barrel or what else that money is a great deal. Some of them are not thinking for a better future in the Philippines. Instead, their eyes are endlessly staring on the sparks of gold and critically planning for their own prosperity. And for me, that line is very relevant today, especially since the national election is coming here in the Philippines. That's why I am encouraging you all to be smart in choosing the candidate you will support and give your vote. Always remember, one vote counts and your vote matters. I just hope that you will choose wisely the person who will wear the crown and were able to bear and handle the weight associated with it. On the other hand, the second letter of Urbana to Feliza is somewhat all people who love to go on a special or formal occasions can strongly relate to it. I learned numerous things, say for instance that table manners, eating properly and neatly and with class, greeting or praising the people who help and organize the occasions. These are some of the manners that we can do in our very simple way. Urbana, which symbolizes urbanity or good manners. Feliza, who came from the Spanish word feliz, which means happiness through fulfilling good deeds. And honesto, which represents sincerity of heart, and neatness of honor can be the paragons of good values and manners that we must incorporate in ourselves. Now, we will be discussing the summary of the novel. Urbana and Feliza are sisters. Urbana as the oldest, followed by Feliza, and their brother, Honesto. They live in a humble home in Bulacan. Feliza always admired her sister when it comes to values and traits. One day, she wake up with an empty bed. She then realized that her sister Urbana left for Manila. To keep in touch with each other, they both exchanged their stories through letters. Feliza, who was left in their hometown in Paombong, Bulacan, asked for her older sister's advice who study in an exclusive school for girls in Manila, knowing that she knows what's the right thing to do. The two sisters talks about etiquettes, proper gestures, and ways in different situations. Also, she reprimands her younger brother Honesto to not engage in vices, fights, and not to hang out with bad people. The latter exchange were both normal from their day-to-day lives, until to the point where Feliza asked her sister on what she should do about her suitor Amadeo. Feliza has second thoughts about marrying Amadeo, but she pushed through the wedding after Urbana settled her doubts and fears. The last part of Feliza's letter is about their father's death, stating that their father doesn't want Urbana to know that he died unless he was finally buried so she won't feel sad. Urbana responds to the letter telling her deepest sympathy. She also mentioned her desire to pursue being a nun. And that's the end of the summary of the story. Let us now move forward to discuss the characters.
For the characters, first we have Urbana. She is the eldest sister of Feliza, who poetry.
Let us now move forward to discuss the themes in the story. First, we have family. The family reflected that even when the sisters were separated, Urbana did not forget to guide and educate her siblings by providing advice through her letter that given the distance and difficulties they maintain a tight-knit and close relationship within their family. The notion of family is explained by how well their family raised them and how they communicate with everyone, which leads to improved behavior. Next, we have perseverance. Perseverance is visible since the time that Urbana pushes through her dreams to achieve what his promoter desires. She persisted even if it meant getting separated from her family, which was difficult for her. And lastly, proper conduct and etiquette. When Urbana wrote to Feliza, she reminded her of the importance of good etiquette. Feliza, who looks after Honesto, appreciates his good manners and proper behavior when attending a banquet. Urbana also wrote letters to Feliza to teach her the norms of Christian teaching. Now, let's move forward to discuss what epistle is. Epistle is letter, missive, note, correspondence, or any writer form of communication. It is formal or didactic, of informal or funny and humorous. And now we will discuss what is epistolary style. As I mentioned a while ago, epistolary style is a literary style where the story is composed of letters or diary entries. It is written with a series of documents and manifested in diaries, letters, emails, blog posts, Twitterature, and Facebook messages. And now we will be discussing the description of the letter. First, it tells the story of two sisters who always write to each other. And second, these are letters between two sisters, Urbana at Feliza, and have influenced greatly the behavior of people in society because the letters dealt with good behavior. And now we will move forward to discuss the moral of the story. The glance is natural magic. The mysterious communication established across a house between two entire strangers moves all the springs of wonder. The communication by the glance is in the greatest part not subject to the control of the will. It is the bodily symbol of identity with nature. We look into the eyes to know if this other form is another self, and the eyes will not lie, but make a faithful confession what inhabitant is here. And that will be the end of our discussion about Urbana and Feliza. And now we will move forward to discuss Florante at Laura by Francisco Baltazar. First, let's get to know who is Francisco Baltazar, the author of Florante at Laura. Francisco Baltazar is the author of Florante at Laura. He was born on April 2, 1788 in Biga, Bulacan in the Philippines. He was the youngest of 4 children, and as a young child, Baltazar displayed an interest in writing poetry and he displayed great potential. He won a number of awards and accolades for some of his pieces such as Ama ng Balagtas. What do you think is the purpose of the author in writing Florante at Laura? Anyone? As a result, his bizarre characters and places have come to be considered as symbolic, and Florante at Laura has come to be read as a passionate work of patriotism, a picture of the Filipino people's hardships under the cruel Spanish colonial authority. Let us now move forward to discuss the novel. The Florante at Laura is a shorter version of its original title. Written in ancient Tagalog, pinagdaan ng buhay ni Florante at ni Laura sa kahariang Albania, kinuha sa madlang kwadro, historiko o pinturang nagsasabi sa mga nangyayari ng unang panahon sa imperyo ng Gresya at tinula ng isang matuin sa version Tagalog. Or in English, the life of Florante and Laura in the Kingdom of Albania, culled from a publicly displayed quadro historico or historical painting which describes the events which were occurring during ancient times in the Empire of Greece and penned by someone who enjoys Tagalog verse. Florante at Laura is considered an awit or long narrative poem. The genre consists of fantastic or chivalric heroic themes written in rhyming quatrains running to hundreds or thousands of lines. It has 399 stanzas and is written in poetic form that has 4 lines per stanza and 12 syllables per line, and each stanza is full figures of speech. This literary masterpiece was written during Balagtas' imprisonment in Pandacan, Manila. He used the pseudonym Francisco Baltazar. Florante at Laura was said to be the outcome of Balagtas' heartbroken situation after losing the woman that he loved the most, whom he referred to as Celia. Balagtas wholeheartedly dedicated this timeless book to Celia, or Maria Asuncion Rivera, who was later married to Balagtas' rival, Mariano Capule, a rich and powerful man. It was Capule who made false charges against Balagtas and used the power of money to put him in jail. Dr. Jose Rizal, the Philippine national hero, considers Florante at Laura to be the best awit form of Filipino poetry in his time. It was written as a depiction of the country's situation during the rule of the Spaniards. Balagtas was playful with his use of mockery, irony, paradox, satire, disdain, and he sets all this up like chess pieces. The characters and the setting used were foreign origin, but the nature, gesture, and custom are undoubtedly Filipino, and the events in the story are similar to the real incidents during that period. Now, let us all watch the summary of Florante at Laura taken from YouTube.
Sa isang gubat na madilim at mapanglaw sa may dakong labas ng Albania, malapit sa ilog Kositong makamandag ang tubig, ay may isang lalaking nakagapos sa puno ng higera at kung titingnan ay kahabag-habag dahil sa sinapit nitong masamang kapalaran. Si Florante na ngayon ay puno ng hinagpis at bigati ay ginugunita ang mga alaala niya kay Laura. Mga masasakit na alaala, ang pagtataksil ni Laura, ang pagkasawi ng kanyang amang si Duque Briseo at ang kalunos-lunos na kalagayan ng bayan niyang mahal ang lalong nagpapahirap sa kanya. Sa hindi sinasadyang pagkakataon, may isang Moro na naglalakad sa gubat. Narinig niya ang isang kaawa-awang tinig at agad pinuntahan ang pinanggalingan nito. Sa pagdating ng Moro, agad na bumungad ang dalawang mababangis na leon na tila handa ng kainin ang kaawa-awang si Florante. Pinatay ng Moro ang mababangis na hayop na ito at pagkatapos ay kinalag ang taling nakagapos kay Florante. Hindi ito iniwan ng Moro. Sa halip ay inalagaan niya ang kaawa-awang si Florante. Nang lumakas na si Florante ay isinalaysay nito sa Moro ang kanyang buhay mula sa kanyang pagkabata. Isinalaysay niya kung paano siya muntik nang madagit ng isang buwitre. Mabuti na lamang ay agad siyang nailigtas ng kanyang pinsan na nagngangalang Menalipo na taga Epiro. Kung paano kinuha ng isang arkon ang kupidong diamante mula sa kanyang dibdib. Isinalaysay din ni Florante kung paano siya ipinadala ng kanyang ama na si Duque Briseo sa Atenas upang mag-aral sa ilalim ng kanyang guro na si Antinor. Kung paano siya iniligtas ni Minandro mula sa mga taga ng kaaway niyang si Adolfo noong sila ay nagtatanghal sa isang dula. Kung paano niya nakuha ang isang liham na nagsasaad ng pagkamatay ng kanyang ina na si Prinsesa Floresca. Isinalaysay din niya kung paano siya nagbalik sa Albania kasama si Minandro, ang matalik niyang kaibigan, ang pagpaslang niya kay General Osmalik, ang tagumpay niya sa 17 kaharian at ang pagtalo niya sa hukbong Turko ni Miramolin na lumusob sa Albania. Tinapos niya ang pagsasalaysay sa pagkuha ni Adolfo sa trono ng Albania at ang pag-agaw sa kanyang minamahal na si Laura hanggang sapitin niya ang masamang kalagayan sa gubat. Nagpakilala ang Moro bilang si Aladin, isang kaaway na mahigpit ng relihiyon at bayang kinabibilangan ni Florante. Katulad ng malagim na sinapit ni Florante ay inagaw din ng kanyang ama na si Aliadab ang pinakamamahal niyang si Flerida, kaya nilisan niya ang kanilang kaharian. Sa hindi kalayuan sa kagubatan ay may narinig si Florante at Aladin na tila pamilyar na boses. Agad nilang tinungo ito upang malaman ang pinanggagalingan ng tinig. Sa hindi inaasahan ay nakita nila sina Laura at Flerida. Tila walang kalagyan ang kanilang kaligayahan dahil muli nilang namasdan ang kanilang minamahal. Isinaad ni Laura ang kalunos-lunos na sinapit ng kanilang kaharian at ang pagkamatay ng kanyang ama dahil sa kasamaan ni Adolfo. Samantalang si Flerida ay umalis naman ng Persya upang hanapin ang pinakamamahal niyang si Aladin. Sa kanilang paglalakbay ay nakita ni Flerida si Laura na tila balak gahasain ni Adolfo. Iniligtas ni Flerida si Laura gamit ang pana at palaso. Sa ganoon ay nabatid ni na Florante at Aladin na ang kani-kanilang mga katipan ay pawang tapat sa kanila. Sina Florante at Laura ay matagumpay na naghari sa Albania at sina Aladin at Flerida pagkatapos na maging binyagan at pagkamatay ni Sultan Ali Adab ay naghari sa Persya.
Now that we are done watching the summary video of Florante and Laura, let us now discuss the characters. Let us first identify the major characters. First, we have Florante, son of Duke Briseo and Princess Floresca, the main character of the song and Laura's love. Next, we have Laura. She is the daughter of King Liceo and Florante. We also have Flerida, the woman who saved Laura and Aladdin's love. And her partner, Aladdin, a Muslim prince and soldier, son of Sultan Ali Adab, the man who saved Florante and Flerida's love. Next, we have Count Adolfo. He is a traitor, son of Count Sileno, very envious of Florante's achievement. And lastly, for our major characters, we have Menandro. He is Florante's classmate and faithful best friend. He is also Florante's right hand in the battle. Now, let us move forward to identify the minor characters. First, we have Duke Briseo. the father of Florante, Princess Floresca's husband and King Licenio's advisor. Second, we have Princess Floresca, mother of Florante, wife of Duke Briseo and Princess of Croton. Third, we have King Linceo. He is the king of Albania and father of Laura. Fourth, we have Antenor, Florante's reliable mentor while he was studying in Athens, Greece. Fifth, we have Count Silino, Count Adolfo's father and also from Albania. Sixth, we have General Miramolin, headed the Persian troops towards invading Albania. Seventh, we have General Osmalik, a Persian general who wanted to invade Croton. Eighth, Sultan Ali Adab, king of Persia, father of Aladdin, who also desired Aladdin's love of his life, Florida. 9. We have Menalipo, Florante's cousin who saved him from a vulture that almost snatched him from his cradle. And lastly, King of Croton Kingdom, Princess Floresca's father and the grandfather of Florante. And they are the characters in Florante at Laura. Let us now move forward to discuss the theme. Florante at Laura is filled with passages on living the upright life and respecting elders and the values of love for country, industry, and patriotism. One of its central themes is that religious differences should not be used to discriminate against another. Now we will be discussing the moral of Florante at Laura. The moral lesson in the story is that love conquers all. It could give you the courage to move on and fight your way just to see your loved one, and aside from that, it teaches the students about the great faith of the characters in God and in their principles. Here are the references used for this video lecture. And that would be the end of our discussion. I hope you learned a lot. Thank you for watching.